Hi everybody, Bill Huddleston here on Rougher TV, Channel 15, and each and every week we'll be giving you a chance to find out what's going on inside the huddle of Muskogee Rougher football, along with the coach, Rafe Watkins. Year number 2. 2 games into the books. Rafe, your thoughts about your football team here for the 2015 campaign?
Well, unfortunately, we're 0-2 right now, so that's the bad thing. The good thing is I'm seeing such an improvement from these young men. You know, both games had leads in the fourth quarter. Unfortunately, just was not able to keep them. Sign of a team that's growing and learning how to win. You know, the thing I've told them is once we get the lead, and I love the way we've battled back in both games, but once you get that lead, we need to put the foot on the throat and finish it off, and that's what we haven't. We haven't got that killer instinct yet, and whenever we get to where we'll do that, we'll be a pretty good team, and, you know, of course, we'll talk about them here in a little bit, but we got another great team that we're going to have to play this week, but it's been good for us. You know, you learn who you are playing tough competition. If we were out there beating teams 60-0 that we could beat if we was playing some inner city schools or something, you don't learn a lot about yourself. We are finding out a lot about ourselves with the competition that we're playing right now. We know that we're not quite there yet, but we're getting closer.
Well, one good thing the Roughers have discovered is that they are start to finish battling. When things maybe break down at the end in the past, maybe there's been situations where you kind of hang your head and just say, let the clock run out. These kids, they're ready to scrap all the way to triple zeros.
Well, in the first game against McAllister, you know, we're down 16-0 right out of the box. And, you know, our team last year, nothing against any of them, and we're still learning a lot on it. And hopefully we're saying the same things next year about that would improve. But, you know, we'd have probably gotten beat a lot worse than what we did on that. We'd have never made the comeback because our kids would have hung their heads. This group's not. I give that to our senior leadership that we've got from that group of young men and doing a great job. And then the other night up at Owasso, you know, you go into a huge atmosphere. They had a great crowd. It was a very good atmosphere for a football game. And got down. They drove down first thing and scored, and then we come back and answered. And so other than a few kicking game woes and, you know, just a couple of missed opportunities, and we have that ball game. And I still say Owasso's a very good football team as well.
Well, indeed they were, and they were able to do what they needed to do, and that's, of course, get the win. But there were some exciting highlights, some silver threads for the Roughers inside those thunderclouds that continued to churn. Let's take a look at some of the video highlights from last Friday night's game against Owasso. Coach, we can see this first one's going to be a running play, and it's nice to see Elijah Gilbert getting full speed.
Elijah's doing a great job. You know, we didn't get a lot of running out of him on the McAllister game, but he did a great job. Had over 100, I think 118 yards the other night. Just our little speed option play there to start it off, and between him and Q, they both are a danger in the backfield.
Now, this was a nice adjustment, and then find the tight end, Jeremiah Madrano, at the goal line. Good catch for 6.
Jeremiah had his best game so far as a Rougher, and I thought did a great job. Our receiver and crew, I think Coach Duncan has done just a tremendous job with them. They're running their routes so much more precise. Here you see Jamari Davis, who has just been incredible the first 2 ball games.
He has. He's been fun to watch, electrifying speed.
The fastest guy on our team, and just turns in plays and makes it look easy.
Here's a nice catch again by Jamari. Q just running the offense with confidence.
This is a huge play for us because we just turned the ball over. Devin McCoy comes up, and no crazy legs going down the sideline there. I tell you, I thought we had a little convoy here, and we had him, but he gets out right here but sets us up, and we go down and score on this drive. Huge momentum change for us.
Indeed. Nice bootleg here and the throwback.
Cameron Curl open, does a good job of catching the ball and holding on to it.
Nice group of receivers to choose from.
We do. We have some skilled kids now. You know, here's Elijah with another nice carry off of our zone play.
7, 8, 9, 10 yards a gain. That's what you ask for.
Well, if we can get that, we're going to win a lot of ball games. Here's reverse starting off the second half with, call it Rebel. And then the next play is the one that everybody's talking about. And this is not the way it's drawn up. I mean, things turn out good, but this was Fayetteville's got to be over there scratching their heads on this. And as good as athlete as Elijah is, he is not very good at playing catch.
But what a catch, and then
great
run after.
catch, and then there's a great block coming up
Look
here
out.
by Tavian
Here we
Davis.
Come. Boom.
And the good thing about that is Tavian did everything right. He led with his shoulder instead of his helmet. You know, the thing that the state's been going against is safety of helpless players, and he did a great job there. No penalty flag. And when we get right back here, this is where we're able to get the onside. It's really not onside. It was just going to be a high little pooch. breach. They handled it, and we got it back, go down and score again, and then we get the 1-point lead. Things are looking good. This is all to start the second half. What I was really proud of, again, is kids coming out after halftime and showing so much heart. Good thrown ball, and Jamari is able to bobble it there and catch it.
And then Quintaj's going to show a little
run in here. Good blocking. If you notice up top right there, you had Curl and Madrano both doing a great job on blocking, and that's sealing it in there. And as I like to call them, skinny linemen, they've bought into that, and Coach Duncan's got them really playing well.
Yeah, the receiving package, not only making catches and yards after catch, but like Coach said, getting those blocks downfield to further enhance the yards after catch by another receiver or by one of those running backs such as Elijah Gilbert. Coach, I know you got to be proud of the way the offense is coming about, and Coach Hill's doing a super job getting the defense in the right spot.
They are. We're getting better every week, and I know that people, if you haven't been to the ball game stuff, you're saying, oh, they're still losing, and we are. We're not in no more victories. We know that we've got to win ball games, but if you can see the changes it's made during practice and during the games, and the enthusiasm that's coming along with it, and the crowds have been great. I'm really proud of our home crowd, and then the other night we had a great crowd up there at Owasso. So just keep on coming. Our student sections have been wonderful, and these kids are going to win a bunch of ball games this year, and they're going to be somebody to be dealt with later on in the season.
One guy that you want to get your eyes on right now is number 1 on the program. His name is Quintaj Cherry. He'll be our guest in this next segment as the Rougher Football Coaches Show continues here on TV 15.
You're taking a timeout with Muskogee High School's Rougher TV.
Hi, everybody. Bill Huddleston, along with the coach of the Ruffers, Rafe Watkins, back here on TV 15. Coach, this guy in the middle of us has found his spot. I mean, if there is a guy that seems to have stepped in and filled what you needed to happen at quarterback, it's number 1 on your program.
Well, Q, just as a fabulous leader for us. That's what I love about him the most. Is as your quarterback, you got to have a leader there that the team follows, and he certainly fits that bill. And then, of course, last 2 ball games has just been tremendous at his position, and thrown 5 touchdowns, ran for 1. We've had the 2 interceptions is all, but doing a fantastic job for us.
Quintaj Cherry, number 1 on the program, number 1 in the hearts of Rougher fans. How much more comfortable, Quintaj, do you feel now than you did as a 14-year-old freshman thrown into the frying pan at this week's opponent, Fayetteville?
I'm a lot more comfortable. I'm more aware with the offense and what's going on the defense side, so I'm not just out there blind.
Exactly. And it was just 3 years ago when Quintaj was a freshman that he got his first varsity action. And, Coach, I know you feel a whole lot more comfortable with having a senior out there than maybe the freshman.
Well, you do, because I've had to start a freshman quarterback myself, and that's always a nerve-wracking thing for not just them but the coach as well. And even last year as a junior, I've just seen the growth that he's had since even his last year, which he battled a few injuries last year, and hopefully we can keep him healthy this year.
Quintaj, talk to me a little bit about the play calling and what all is going on, because there's been a mixture of running and passing. Do you get play calls from the sideline and stay with those, or is Coach Madrano giving you some flexibility to maybe make a change or 2?
Well, we talked about getting a little bit more flexible with me adjusting to what's going on the defense side, but recently I've just been running what he called.
All right, so far things are beginning to pick up and get falling into place. Now, I got to come back and ask you. I asked you before we started our segment here about your baseball experiences. As a youngster, what baseball team did you play on?
I played on the Mean Machines.
On the Mean Machines. What position did you play?
I played shortstop.
Played shortstop. Obviously, those shortstop skills last Friday night against Owasso came to your help.
Yeah, it did.
And what we're talking about is, of course, the little short hop that Q had to field, but then the throw downfield. This Jamari Davis kid's got some wheels.
Man, he can really go. I tell him every day he still can't beat me running, but he's pretty quick.
Well, I don't know. We saw some highlights of the way JD takes it to the house and where you got into the corner of the end zone. But nevertheless, it's good to have you, man. It's good to see you. Really like you sporting this orange right here.
Oh, yeah.
Now, tell me, Coach, where's this OSU influence coming from?
I don't know. I have no idea. I didn't know he was an OSU fan, but I know, like I said, there's a guy that we hired this year named Kai Staley that sure is probably enjoying that right now.
I'm sure he is. Number 1 on the program, number 1 in the hearts, the Ruffers, senior quarterback Quintaj Cherry is our guest here on TV 15. We'll come back with more of the Rougher Coaches Show after this timeout.
You're taking a timeout with Muskogee High School's Rougher TV.
Hi, everybody. Bill Huddleston back along with the coach of the Ruffers, Rafe Watkins. Coach, we've seen the highlight package from last week's game against Owasso and talked to Quintage and know he's anxious to get back to where it all started. But the Purple Bulldogs of Coach Darrell Patton are the real deal.
They are. They're the #1 team in Arkansas for a reason. They're offensively, they're the best team I've seen in quite some time. I mean, they're running the Baylor package of that chuck and duck, as I like to talk about it. But you can tell they're very well versed in it and educated about it. You can tell they've spent a lot of time together. They give the little hand signals, and the quarterback and the receivers are thinking the same thing all along. Averaging over 50 points a game in their first 2 games, beating Lawton Eisenhower out of Oklahoma, and then beating North Little Rock last week, which is generally a pretty athletic team in Arkansas. And we've got them in the Greenwood, Arkansas scrimmages by Coach Jones that used to be at Broken Arrow, and they manhandled them. So they're a very good football team. You know, they're more of a finesse. They're not as physical as what Owasso was, but they spread you out and they're very well calculated. They got 2 nice little running backs, but their quarterback's what makes them go, and he throws extremely good ball. They're big up front, but again, they're not just a real physical team like Owasso, but they are by far the best offensive team that we've seen. Defensively, they're going to run the same thing, 4-2-5 that we saw with Owasso. They got a really, really good number 47, their defensive end. I think his name's Eli White. He's 6'5", 245, and his motor runs. Our tackles are going to have to do a great job of containing him in our passing game.
Should be an exciting game on Friday night. Ruffers will travel across the Arkansas state line. Fayetteville High School, Google it on your map, Fayetteville High School Stadium. Now, remind you the game, not like last week, this week starts at 7 o'clock. And, Coach, we'll have our online broadcast of the game on Ruffer TV starting at 6:30. Looking forward to that. And then, of course, every Tuesday night, we've got a radio coaches show on 97.1 FM, the Coaching Carousel. Coach Watkins and myself, along with members of the staff and other players, talking high school football Ruffer style. But Friday night, make the road trip with the Ruffers. Let's go see if we can't chase down the Purple Dogs.
We're going to do our very best.
Absolutely. So for head coach Rafe Watkins and our guest this week, Quintage Cherry, I'm Bill Huddleston saying so long, and remember, it's always a great day to be a Ruffer.